Good morning, MUIDS. I'm Pammy from 1205.
And I'm Mint from 1207.
We're from the Broadcasting Club, and we're here every Wednesday from 7:45 to 8:15, though today we're a bit late. So don't forget to tune in for your weekly content and entertainment.
As a reminder that if any teachers are listening at this point, we know you're in a meeting right now, so feel free to switch off the PA system in your room. You can do that using the neat little volume knob right next to one of the doors.
But before we continue, I would like to formally acknowledge the people who have made this live section in this studio possible. I would also like to give a shout out to Ty, who's both the studio and AV technician for this time.
By the way, if anyone's interested in contacting us, feel free to fill out the Google form in the line group and Homeroom Hub, or our Instagram at MUIDS broadcast. Moving on, let's get to the announcements.
So today is day C, and for grade 10 and 11 are having quarter exams and map tasting. For December 13th, there are 12 days left till Christmas. Isn't that exciting, Mint?
Yeah, that's really exciting.
And for the library, you can also borrow books and win a prize, though there is limited number of prizes available. For the next year, 2024 is a leap year and a year of dragons. And for the midwinter break, it's around December 16th and till January 7th for the next year. And for the grade 10, there's Live Without Walls in January at Kanchanaburi. So for all the grade 10 and 11 who are having exams right now, good luck. I wish you good fortune.
Yeah, make the holiday bring you the best scores in grades. Moving on to our quote of the week. The best gift is more precious than gold, but it cannot be sold. When it breaks, it's not ended, for quickly it's mended. It can never be bought, yet it's easily sought. From Pinkie Pie, in My Little Pony, best gift ever.
Wow, isn't that friendship? Friendship is massive, right, Mitch?
Yeah. By the way, it's a riddle, Pammy, and the answer is
Friendship! Yay! Like us both, it's a coincidence that we are here today to talk together again, right, Rin?
Oh, that's so sweet. I truly agree. Friendship is the best gift I can ever ask for.
So, transition to our now daily topic. Do you guys know that today the next year is leap year and also Chinese lunar calendar?
As mentioned earlier, 2024 is both a leap year and the year of the dragon. So, we're going to be talking briefly about what is a leap year, how does it occur, and give you some information about the Chinese lunar calendar.
So, a leap year is a year in the calendar that contains 366 days instead of 365 by adding a 29th day in the month of February or 13th month to keep the calendar year synchronized with the seasonal year.
Because astronomical events and seasons don't repeat perfectly in a whole number of days, calendars with 365 days per year will shift over time. By adding a leap day to the year, the drift between the civilization's dating system and the physical properties of the solar system can be corrected. An astronomical year lasts slightly less than 365 days and a quarter. So, the historic Julian calendar has 3 common years of 365 days, followed by a leap year of 366 days. By extending February to 29 days rather than the common 28. This extra leap day occurs in each year that is an integer multiple of 4, except for years evenly divisible by 100, but not by 400.
So, for the Chinese lunar calendar assigns an animal for every year in a repeating 12-year circle. So there are signs and fixed elements for each year. A rat represents water element, an ox represents the earth, tiger represents wood, rabbit also represents wood as well, and dragon represents the earth, snake represents fire, horse also represents fire, goat represents the earth element, monkey and rooster represents metal, dog represents earth, and pig represents metal.
Wow! So, if my own sign is a rooster, then my fixed element is metal, right, Patty?
Right, and mine is a dog. Woof woof. So it also represents an earth element.
Okay, so in Chinese astrology, the animal signs assigned for each year represent how others perceive an individual and vice versa. It is often misunderstood that the animals assigned for each year are the only signs, but the truth is there are also animals assigned by months, days, and hours, and the earth is all 12 signs with 5 seasons.
Wow, that is actually amazing. So let's get on to our next content, right, Mick?
Yeah, so the moment you've all been waiting for, finally gonna get to our main topic. And about the quote of the week, I think this quote about the best gift you can ever receive kind of gives an idea of what our main topic's gonna be.
TikTok, TikTok.
Our main topic is gonna be the origins of Christmas and some Christmas tales to get those holiday spirits going.
Yeah, totally. So let's get on to the content.
For many, Christmas is considered one of the most beautiful times of the year. According to studies, about 95% of Christians and 90% of Americans celebrate this festival each year, which means it is one of the most celebrated holidays centered around various love traditions, such as decorating houses, setting up a Christmas tree, cooking Christmas food and desserts, attending church celebrations on Christmas Eve, eating up holiday desserts and food, and of course, exchanging gifts with our loved ones. The staggering numbers are surprising all the time. People start to celebrate as soon as the leaves begin to change into fall colors.
So Christmas is definitely the busiest time of the year for everyone, and there's no secret about it. But with all the excitement around the corner of the holiday, have you ever wondered how the festival started? Well, we've got you covered. Go through the blog below and understand the history and background stories of Christmas. So let's dive deep into like the history. Many of you guys already know the festival has had many changes since the start, but who knows? We're gonna dive deep today, yeah.
But before we go on, I'd like to mention that Christmas is my favorite time of the year. And this year, I've also made some wish ideas for what I want to ask Santa. But can't tell you, otherwise it wouldn't come true. Right, Pammy?
True, that's exactly true.
Okay, so getting on to the history of Christmas. So, according to the History Channel, Christmas is celebrated on December 25th and is both a sacred religious holiday and a worldwide cultural and commercial phenomenon. For 2 millennia, people around the world have been observing it with traditions and practices that are both religious and secular in nature. Christians celebrate Christmas Day as the anniversary of the birth of Jesus of Nazareth, a spiritual leader whose teachings form the basis of their religion. Popular customs include exchanging gifts, decorating Christmas trees, attending church, sharing meals with family and friends, and of course, waiting for Santa Claus to arrive. December 25th, Christmas Day, has been a federal holiday in the United States since 1820. But how did it start?
So, Christmas is a year that everyone knows that we should share with our loved ones. So, in the middle of winter, it has long been a time of celebration around the world, centuries before the arrival of the man called Jesus. Early Europeans celebrated light and birth in the darkest days of winter. Many people rejoice during the winter solstice, when the worst of the winter was behind them, and they could look forward to longer days and extended hours of sunlight. In Scandinavia, the Norse celebrate Jul from December 21, the winter solstice, through January, in recognition of the return of the sun. Fathers and sons would bring home large logs, which they would set on fire. The people would feast until the log burned out, which could take as many as 12 days. The Norse believed that each spark from the fire represented a new pig or calf that would be born during the coming year.
The end of December was a perfect time for celebration in most areas of Europe. At that time of year, most cattle were slaughtered, so they would not have to be fed during the winter. And for many, it was the only time of year when they had a supply of fresh meat. In addition, most wine and beer made during the year was finally fermented and ready for drinking. And in Germany, people honored the pagan god Odin during the midwinter holidays. Germans were terrified of Odin, as he believed to make nocturnal flights through the sky to observe his people, and then decide who would prosper or perish. Because of his presence, many people chose to stay inside.
Very interesting indeed. So, for the Saturnalia and Christmas in Rome, where winters were not as hard as those in the far north, Saturnalia holiday is in honor of Saturn. The god of agriculture was celebrated. Beginning in the week leading up to the winter solstice and continuing for a full month, Saturnalia was a hedonistic time when food and drink were plentiful and the noble Roman social order was turned upside down. For a month, enslaved people were given temporary freedom and treated as equals. Business and schools were closed so that everyone could participate in the holidays festival. Also, around the time of the winter solstice, Romans observed Juvenalia, a feast honoring the children of Rome. In addition, members of the upper class often celebrated the birthday of Mithra, the god of the unconquerable sun, on December 25. It was believed that Mithra, an infant god, was born from a rock. For some Romans, Mithra's birthday was the most sacred day of the year.
But is Christmas really the day that Jesus was born? So, in the early years of Christianity, Easter was the main holiday. The birth of Jesus was not celebrated. But in the 4th century, church officials decided to institute the birth of Jesus as a holiday. Unfortunately, the Bible does not mention a date for his birth, which is a fact that Puritans pointed out in order to deny the legitimacy of celebration. Although some evidence suggests that his birth may have occurred in spring, well, then why would shepherds be herding in the middle of winter? So Pope Julius chose December 25th. It is commonly believed that the church chose this date in an effort to adopt and absorb the traditions of the pagan Saturnalia festival. First called the Feast of Nativity, the custom spread to Egypt by 432 and to England by the end of the 6th century. By holding Christmas at the same time as the traditional winter solstice festivals, church leaders increased the chances that Christmas would be popularly embraced, but gave up the ability to dictate how it was celebrated. By the Middle Ages, Christianity had, for the most part, replaced pagan religion. On Christmas, believers attended church, then celebrated raucously in a drunken, carnival-like atmosphere, similar to today's Mardi Gras. Doesn't that sound a bit contradictory to a church setting, Pammy?
It is contradictory indeed.
I don't know why, but, well, each year, a beggar or student would be crowned the Lord of Misrule, and eager celebrants played the part of his subjects. The poor would go to the houses of the rich and demand their best food and drink. If owners failed to comply, their visitors would most likely terrorize them with mischief. Christmas became the time of year when the upper classes could repay their real or imagined debt to society by entertaining the less fortunate citizens.
Such a heartwarming story. So let's dive into the origin of Santa Claus, also known as Saint Nick or simply Santa. A legendary figure originating in the Western culture is said to bring gifts during the night of Christmas Eve in his workshop at the North Pole. Santa has about six original elves named Alabaster Snowball, Bushy Evergreen, Peppermint Sticks, Skinny Apple Tree, Sugar Plum Mary, and also Lunar's Open Sleigh.
Then,
Weird names, right?
yeah, then Santa loads them onto a sleigh that flies around the world with the help of 9 reindeers, whose names are Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, and of course, Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer.
Oh, that's a song, right?
Yeah, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is indeed a song. You can listen to that on YouTube and Netflix.
Totally. So, fun fact, all of Santa's reindeers are ghosts, including Rudolph. I used to think he was a boy.
Yeah, me too. But now, about Christmas. Christmas is indeed a beautiful time of year, but this beautiful time of the year wouldn't be complete with a bunch of fairy tales, right, Pammy?
Totally. So today we have a story for you indeed. It's about Christmas carols by Charles Dickens.
So, A Christmas Carol opens on a cold Christmas Eve in London, 7 years after Jacob Marley's death. Scrooge, the protagonist, dislikes Christmas and refuses to join all of the Christmas dinners and traditions. He also refused to donate his money to the poor and refused to allow his underpaid clerk Bob Cratchit a paid day off for Christmas. That night, Scrooge is visited by Jacob Marley's ghost, who wanders the earth with heavy chains due to his lifetime greed and selfishness, and tells him that he has only one chance to avoid the same fate. He will be visited by three spirits and must choose whether to listen or to be cursed.
So the first spirit is the ghost of Christmas. It reminds Scrooge of his childhood. This scene reveals his loneliness at boarding school, his split relationship with his beloved sister named Fan, and a Christmas party by his first employer who treated him like a son. Worst of all, he visited Bill, Scrooge's former fiancée, who neglected him because she realized that he will never love her as much as he loves money. We later visit Bill and her large, happy family on the Christmas Eve that Mary died. The second spirit is the spirit of Christmas present. It takes Scrooge to a busy market where people are buying everything they need for Christmas. Then they visit Bob's family feast and meet Timothy Tim. A happy
Is
boy.
it Tiny Tim, Henry?
It's Tiny Tim. So sorry, everyone. He is a happy boy who is seriously ill. The spirit informs Scrooge that Tiny Tim will die unless the cause of the events change. The spirit also shows Scrooge two children named Ignorance and Want. Finally, the third spirit, the spirit of Christmas, yet to come, shows death. It of a disliked man whose funeral is only attended if lunch is provided. The only pleasure felt due to his death was by a couple who thinks his death gives them more time to put their finances in order. Then the spirit shows Bob Cratchit and his family mourning over the death of Tiny Tim. The ghost then allows Scrooge to see a neglected grave with a tombstone with his name on it. Scrooge then sobs and then promises to change.
So, on Christmas morning, Scrooge makes a large donation to charity and sends a large turkey to the Cratchit family and joins Fred's Christmas party. Moreover, he increases Bob's salary and acts as the father figure for Tiny Tim. From then on, Scrooge treats everyone with kindness and generosity and embodies the holiday spirit.
So, on to the next story. Have you guys heard about The Grinch by Dr. Seuss?
Yeah, it was one of my favorites when I was a child.
Mine too. So the Grinch really hated Christmas because of all the musical instruments, dinner eating, and carol singing. So he decided to destroy it once and for all. He designed a red suit to disguise himself as Santa Claus and steals all the gifts and belongings from the Who's home on Christmas Eve and dump it off on the mountain nearby. But on Christmas morning, the Who's were singing happily since they've still got one another. This made him realize that Christmas is more about having candy and presents. So he stops steering the gifts from falling off the mountain and returns all the gifts to the Who's family and joins the celebration.
Wow, both of these stories at least have a heartwarming ending. Don't you think, Tammy?
Totally. Anyways, Christmas is a eve that you should never be alone. It should be a eve that you should be cherishing with your loved ones and also having a heartwarming time with your family or time here.
Yeah. Well, we would actually like to give you a bit more Christmas tales, but unfortunately, we'll have to go to class since we don't want to be late. That means that that's it for today, and we hope that again, the content we gave out will be interesting and useful to you to learn more about our modern world and the origins of such an interesting festival that everyone enjoys, especially for the vacation part. Thank you for listening. Stay curious and let's get those holiday spirits going. And don't forget to leave cookies and milk for Santa and carrot for the reindeer. Goodbye!
Goodbye!